Some of that has meant improving training. Some of that has meant pushing towards police licensing, which never before existed. Some of that has meant transparency measures that said we were not going to hide behind laws that enabled us to keep footage of deadly officer-involved shooting encounters or use of force situations from the public and saying affirmatively, we will put this out. And some of that has meant reforming our state's internal affairs guidelines and use of force policies to say that we are going to do more and demand more of our law enforcement officers. But the key in New Jersey is that we've done this collaboratively with robust community engagement.
I think New Jersey was in the minority of states that didn't previously have like statewide certification programs or licensing. So it's definitely a major step for progress to see that moving forward. What does that actually entail, and how long do you think that process is going to take?
I'm a lawyer, and my wife's a physician. If we violate the rules of our profession, there are processes in place that can result in us losing our licenses. And so over the next several months, we hope to engage with the Police Training Commission, and we have to engage with the police unions and other representatives of law enforcement, to include the chiefs associations, to talk about what are those baseline requirements going to be to maintain law enforcement certification. Because the problem we want to avoid, and I don't know if you saw this, but we had an officer who we charged last week for pepper spraying 2 African-American juveniles in Camden County, who had jumped from department to 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 department, 9 departments, and he's 31 years old. That's why we need police licensing and certification, to make sure that never happens again, because there is a reason why people do that. They do that to hide their baggage, and we don't want that type of person in law enforcement. And so that's our hope, and we hope to get it done by the end of the year.
There's also a national conversation being pushed now about defunding the police. And of course, there are different interpretations. What does that mean? Defund them completely, or just reduce their budgets and invest more in social services, some of which you've mentioned. So how do you view that conversation?
If defunding means, closing police departments, obviously I'm against that. I think our police play an important role in public safety, and unfortunately, they are really a safety net of sorts right now. If you ask a cop 25 years ago if they were going to be part mental health counselor, part marriage counselor, part drug counselor, I don't think any of them would tell you that's what they signed up for. But because other systems and institutions have failed, that's where they find themselves. And so they are dealing with significant issues that other systems are not able to deal with. And so I think the solution is to better fund those other systems, but at the same time, until that happens, is to more smartly fund law enforcement. So let's give them, as we announced 2 weeks ago, that we were going to do statewide crisis intervention team training. Let's give them that de-escalation training. Let's give them more tools. Let's train them on cultural sensitivity, on implicit bias, on all of these other important issues, so they're able to address all the problems that they're encountering right now. And by all means, at the same time, let's fix the other systems. Let's fix our education system. Let's fix our healthcare system. Let's fix housing. Let's fix all the other places where these systemic injustices then create other problems sometimes that our law enforcement officers are forced to handle. So that would be my hope. I want to better train our cops, and to do that, I need to better fund our departments to do that.